We all know that to get impressive fitness results, you need to work hard. You can't develop your muscles if you do not challenge yourself. But as you push yourself hard in the gym for months on end, you can eventually reach a state in which you feel quite fatigued. When this occurs, you can benefit from purposely doing less training than normal. This is also known as deloading. In this video, I will discuss how a deload can help you get better long-term results and how you can go about designing a deload. Later on in the video, we will also discuss in which cases a deload may not be necessary. The main goal of a deload is to keep your performance high. As you train, you increase your level of fitness, but at the same time, training fatigue also increases. After a while, your training fatigue catches up to your fitness improvements. Being in this fatigued state won't allow you to train as hard anymore. This is a common reason why the progress you make on a new training program tends to decrease as the months go by. Having a lighter training period in the form of a deload helps reduce training fatigue, which brings your body in a more recovered state. While being more recovered and feeling energized, you can better express your strength in the gym. This is in line with the fitness fatigue model that is well known in sports sciences. The less fatigued you are, the better you can perform in the gym. And also, as you can imagine, a deload can provide a good mental break from training very heavy all the time and also may reduce the risk of injury. Oftentimes, injuries occur when you train beyond your body's recovery capacity. But before we look into when and how to deload, let's look into situations in which a deload is not needed. Because it only makes sense to use a deload if you can actually benefit from it. If you regularly miss a few training days because of work, travel, or any other circumstance, your body gets enough moments of extra rest to reduce fatigue, so you don't need an extra deload week. Also, if you are a beginner trainee, usually no long deloads are needed. Beginner trainees tend to have less strength and also still need to learn many of the exercises they do, so the fatigue their workouts produce is not very high. While training with a moderate volume, most beginner lifters can make progress linearly by lifting a bit more weight or repetitions every training session. Once you feel fatigued as a beginner trainee and progress slows down, something as simple as having one lighter training day helps. In this lighter training day, decrease the weight on each exercise by about 10%. Then the next training day, you'll probably feel more recovered and can continue your trend of progress. Now, as you advance in your fitness journey, you'll find that you progressively lift heavier weights and need to train harder. In this case, deloading usually is beneficial, and just having one lighter training day is not enough for proper recovery. A deload period with less strenuous workouts is usually beneficial for intermediate and advanced trainees because it helps keep their performance high. A simple way you can go about deloading in this case is by having a deload week. There are multiple ways to do a deload week, but let's stay close to the guidelines of a 2015 research review on tapering for muscle strength. Tapering refers to the decrease in training stress that strength athletes have right before a competition. The goal with a taper is to reduce training fatigue so you can perform better, basically the same as with a deload. Based on the mentioned research review, a good way to deload is by reducing training volume while keeping intensity the same. This basically means that you do fewer sets in your workouts, but the weights you lift stay the same. You can lower your training volume by around 30 to 50%. So if you normally train your chest with 20 sets per week, in a deload week you train your chest with 10 to 14 sets. The lower volume will not strain your body as usual, which gives your body the opportunity to recover. As to when you should do a deload, sometimes specific timeframes are set, like having a deload every 8 to 12 weeks. But when you should do a deload will really depend on how your training is going. If you are still making progress after 12 weeks and feel great, it is not needed to take a deload. You can continue training normally as long as you are making progress. I would auto-regulate your deloads. Once you see your strength is plateaued and you feel more fatigued than usual, plan a deload week. After this deload week, you can build your volume back up and you will likely notice that you can perform better after this recovery period. If you give your body the opportunity to recover after a fatiguing training period, your performance recovers to a greater level than before. So to sum up the practical takeaways from this video, beginner lifters usually don't need a formal deload week. Having one lighter training session is usually enough to reduce fatigue. For more advanced lifters, a deload can be designed by reducing your training volume by 30 to 50% for an entire training week. Advanced lifters can auto-regulate when they deload. If you experience a plateau and feel fatigued, that's when a deload week helps. And that is all for today's video. I hope that you now have a better idea of when a deload can be beneficial and how you can go about designing a deload. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Leave me a thumbs up if you found the video helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you in the next video.